Food and energy costs are expected to push the general rate of inflation up. It's due out at 10:45 today. This is for Q2 of this year. We'll find out how much prices increase by. Liam Dann is the New Zealand Herald Business Editor at Large with doing this morning. Liam, good morning.
G'day, Ryan.
So what are you expecting to see today?
The trend is up, so that's the problem, I guess. Maybe 0.8, 0.9, so annual inflation coming in at about 2.8 or 2.9. That's the sort of consensus of economists thinking, and it's expected to sort of continue to rise for a bit. So in the third quarter, a lot of economists are expecting it'll go up above 3, and of course the Reserve Bank has that target band of 1 to 3. They're supposed to use interest rates to keep it there, and which means that in theory they shouldn't be dropping interest rates further. But look, there is a feeling that they could sort of look through this because it's food, and that is volatile, and food is affected by international prices and all that sort of stuff. But on the flip side, food is what people care about. It's the sort of inflation that we sort of feel most acutely. So I think, the public is, we know the public's feeling it. We hear a lot about butter in the news, obviously, but all the other things, other dairy products, beef is up a lot. So the price of sort of feeding the family with mince, ground beef has gone up by about 21% in the last year. And now fruit and veg are starting to rise. And that's only going to get worse because of the flooding we've seen. So, a bit of a sort of a, hopefully, short-term bump, but it is a problem. Yeah,
it is a problem, and it's just so hard to get rid of. It's like a bad smell in your clothes,
yeah,
isn't it? That to think 3 years ago we peaked now at over 7%, and we're still, and it's going up still.
Yeah, well, we didn't want to be having this problem again.
No.
I mean, look, I spent a lot of time trying to explain that there's some good news there, that the global commodity prices are high. So there's enormous global demand for protein. That's good for New Zealand on a net sort of equation because we're such an exporter. That means we've got these extra billions of dollars coming in to Fonterra, to the farmers, hopefully flowing through to the rest of the country over the coming months. But so the big picture is that with the rest of the economy in bad shape, some of the core inflation, the non-tradable inflation, we got used to those terms a couple of years ago, tradable and non-tradable, that's the sort of the services, the cost of getting a plumber and all that sort of stuff, that's still falling because the economy is so slow. So economists do think that overall we'll see inflation stay subdued and down enough that we could still see some interest rate cuts from the Reserve Bank, another couple maybe. But I'd say, the next 4 to 6 months, you're going to have this food price inflation going through, and we're going to hear about it from the public. I hear about it, and I think the government is going to hear about it. It becomes a problem for the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister.
Yeah, we saw Sir John Key last week saying that we should just go hard. I suppose it's easy for him to say now that he's on the outer.
He can look through the. I'm sure the price of mincemeat isn't worrying him.
High on his list of priorities.
But he's a market guy. He's always been quite sort of dovish around inflation. Like, he wants to see interest rates lower. He wants to turbocharge the economy.
And he said you would swallow a bit of inflation to get the growth.
Yeah, and look, there's an argument there. I think in a funny sort of way, not to the extent that he's talking about, but the Reserve Bank may well do that to a lesser extent. So they may, they're going to see it go up above 3. They're not going to panic, and a lot of people are still expecting we'll see another OCR cut in August, because they will be able to look at that core inflation and say, okay, well, we can sort of put food to one side and see that overall inflation in the economy is still trending down. Hopefully, the rest of it balances out. Although you don't really want the food prices to fall off a cliff, because they're the only thing keeping our economy in the game.
That's true.
You remove the dairy and the meat prices from the equation, New Zealand's economy, God, how bad would it be?
On the bones of its arse. I mean, tourism still hasn't come back.
Yeah.
Housing's flat, construction,
consumer confidence.
Immigration.
Yeah. So, we kind of need those higher prices right now, so we may have to just suck it up.
Suck it up, buttercup. Thanks so much for that. Liam Dann, New Zealand Herald Business Editor at Large. It is 11 minutes after 8.